Hi, I'm Abigail Clarke Sather of Waypoint Forward LLC, and we work on taking fabric to fiber in 90 seconds or less for handling textile recycling and building the textile circular economy. So, as you may be aware, we have a huge textile waste problem that's global. Fast fashion practices each year create overproduced textiles and we overconsume them, and there are about 92 million tons globally that are available. A lot of folks are familiar with kind of these iconic pictures that National Geographic took in the Atacama Desert in Chile, but there are many such textile dumps around the world. Right now, the current state of technology means that most textiles, when they're recycled, are turned into small pieces of scrap, like little chunks that you see here. Leaf Fibers and Martel have combined and are now the largest textile recycler in the US. And this is from their website directly of what they produce. That's not very useful to have small pieces of fabric. This means that any organization that has textile waste struggles to find a way to process their textile waste and to create a meaningful product from it. That's kind of where we come in that the new legislation that's coming out of Europe from the Waste Directive that now has every European country collecting textile waste in a separate stream, and that in California, Senate Bill 707 that now requires apparel brands to be part of a collective collecting textile waste and reusing it. This means that textile recycling is required. It's no longer an added bonus, it's a must for companies. So here is my grad student, Hira, recycling rayon with alpaca at Rumpelstiltskin Fiber Mill, which is 30 minutes from where Waypoint Forward is located in Duluth, Minnesota. I work to make sure that companies can create circular textile reuse. And part of that is through Waypoint Forward and the fiber shredder patent pending technology that creates, as you can see here on the left, fibers and threads that are usable, that are directly reusable to be made into yarn and other high value applications, and makes a very small amount of textile pieces or chunks in that 90-second run. I'm comparing to a commercial mechanical textile recycler on the market, the Taskmaster. It also does a variety of other materials, including food waste. But as you can see, what comes out are shorter fibers and more chunks and pieces that have less reuse value. So we're coming out with a better end product that has more value and more use. The second thing, I've started a second company, which is a brand that reuses the recycled fibers that are made. It's Way Forward Fibers, and combines those with a carrier fiber, which is alpaca. Here we've got a recycled wool, that's the red, mixed with a brown alpaca, 50% recycled wool. It used to be a jacket and skirt combination wasn't so fashionable, and it now adds that beautiful color without dyeing to the alpaca fiber, so adding value to natural fibers that already exist. What we're looking forward in terms is product and service offerings. So this summer we're going ahead, we've already made our first 2 sales of yarn with denim, and I have the margin for different products. We're looking at selling the fiber directly, and we're looking at selling the fiber shredder machine itself so people can do their own textile recycling. This also means that we've got consulting that we can do with companies to help them create their own circularity within their own manufacturing cycles or supply chain. I mentioned what textile waste is like globally. Within the US, it's around 60 million tons. So there is no shortage of material that can become valuable that's now waste. There are many thrift stores around, so there are already folks that are collecting this material. So that part of the supply chain is already built. And the textiles recycling market is expected to grow in part due to the legislation that's going on in the US and Europe. Yarn in particular has over 4% growth rate, and there are millions of people that buy craft yarn, in addition to all apparel brands that are using woven or knit fabrics that use it as well. Other market that's not represented here is geotextiles, landscaping fabric, mulch, mats, things like that. And so what goes on with that is that we're seeing that there's been a lot of interest, as in we made 2 sales without trying so far. And this kind of interest has happened for the yarn that we've created, as well as in the fiber shredder machine. At least once a week, I get a call from municipal waste organization, nonprofits, different manufacturers of textile products, and even craft-based artisans. On the bottom here, you can kind of see the process that we go through. So here was a 100% cotton flannel button-down shirt that then we used the fiber shredder to recycle. It became fibers. Those fibers were added with alpaca, and we actually made these into a rug yarn and collaborated with Connie's Handwoven Rugs. That is an online seller of handwoven rugs, and also someone that has an Instagram account as an influencer. We're looking to do more of these pilots with different influencers, folks that have social media following, and kind of gauge both consumer interest as well as get product feedback on how the yarn performs or the non-wovens performs in a user context. So our yarn pilot so far involves a collaboration with Kelsey Evans, owner of Grumpelstiltskin Fiber Mill, and the co-founder of Way Forward Fibers with me. It involves the management team at North Goodwill, which is based out of Duluth. We have great relationship with the CEO and the operations and retail managers. And with Craig and Terry Kwame, who run Redgate Alpaca Farm. We're using their 3rd quality alpaca fibers. Generally, those fibers are not used. They have Surrey alpaca, which you can see an example here. They have long fibers, and the 3rd quality, which is the neck and belly, so kind of that gets more exposed to dirt, is of really high quality from these 2 farmers because of the way they raise their animals. We also have a pilot with non-woven textiles. So here in this kind of small square, you're seeing recycled cotton denim that has a PLA film sandwiched in between 2 layers of carded fibers. This type of mat, you can see some work by a local landscaping company, Shoreview Natives, that seeds native plants and needs long-term weed suppression. So this, if you can see in fall 2024, one of our testing with the company on the top, you can see our denim and how it held up compared to the existing fabric that they use. And then in the bottom, you can see what it looked like in spring 2025. Our feedback so far has been that using the cotton fibers retains more moisture than the wood waste fibers that are currently used in this, and that it also kind of forms around the plant better. We also are investigating this with non-dyed, unbleached, undyed fabric scrap that we received recently. So one of our ask is we are seeking right now interviewees. We are part of a NSF National Egg Course Team project that starts July 8th. And we've already set up some interviews, but we're looking for more folks to talk to us and help us in our customer discovery process. Also, we have another grant that is funded in the state of Minnesota, and we're looking for organizations that want to pilot the current fiber shredder and recycle their own textile waste, some of which will become yarn and some of which they will look for their own manufacturers to create new products. We're also looking for more influencers, such as artisans, brands, and farm stores to trial our yarn and give us feedback. And these things are what we need help with, but not necessarily finances for. We're also looking for labor support, salary support for yarn production, fiber recycling, as well as sales. And to support my work on this, support my salary so I can work on this full time, running these two businesses. And then we're also looking for engineering design, regulatory compliance, as well as automated sorting, design support for scaling up the fiber shredder technology, and then more support to scaling up the prototyping, both for a 5-foot wide nonwoven landscape fabric manufacturing line with a manufacturer that is in northern Minnesota who we have a relationship with, and large scale fiber mill yarn production with a fiber mill we have a relationship with in Wisconsin. So the ask is for $500K over the next 2 years.